Welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and I'm taking you through how to model a hand for a stylistic character. Now, even though this is a stylistic character, we still need to get the right proportions, and you need to use a reference while you're doing it. Even though I'm using a reference of a hand I've modeled already, that's to keep everything consistent in my videos. But before I did that, I had to find a reference of a real human hand. And that's the same thing with anything that you do. Just because I'm using a reference that I've modeled before doesn't mean I didn't use a real reference before. I just didn't think this stuff up. So you have to do the same. You have to, if you're modeling a human hand or a hand that's humanistic, you need to make sure you have a real hand. So I wanted to give this to you guys. I also have other references that are in that folder, and if you don't have them, please let me know. But they're a reference of a female body that I actually use to model the character. So if you have any other questions, please let me know in class. But you have to have an anatomy references for all of this stuff to work. Alright? Okay, let's go ahead and keep going. So now we're going to add detail to the fingers. Okay, so from the top view, we're going to go ahead and start adding that detail. So you can see that we've got detail here and here, which we already have, but then we have detail here and here, but we need detail here and here, and this is going to be the top of the knuckle, where the knuckle bends, and you got to have some more sections, edge loops in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and create those edge loops. So what I'm doing is I'm selecting the object, so I right click over and go to selection, and I'm going to hold down the shift key and right mouse button and go to insert edge loop. So I'm going to insert an edge loop here and here, okay, for the top of the knuckle, here and here for the middle knuckle. And I think we'll just leave that the way it is, because we usually bend the finger right in through here, and that will have enough vertices, or excuse me, edge loops. So I'm going to hit the Q key, get out of the tool, go back to selection, and what I notice about fingers is just a little bit we see a bulge, okay, from the side view. So let's go to the side view now of this object. Alright, so when we look at a finger, and I'm going to go ahead and turn everything off here a minute so we can see what's going on. Alright, so when we look at a finger, we see kind of a bulge right in through here. So I'm going to kind of move these around just a little bit, okay, where that bulge may be. Okay, so usually it's, if you look at your own finger, just put your finger out, look at your finger, and it looks something like this. Okay, maybe you want to bring that back, bring that down, whoops. Make sure you marquee select all those pieces, there we go. And then we have a little piece that goes up. Okay, so I'm going to bring that one down just a little bit so we have a little fullness there. And then we've got that piece right here. Okay. And then we have this piece down here that kind of bulges out. We'll bring that down as well. Okay. So that just kind of gives you the thickness of the finger. I'm going to move these back just a little bit, like that. And you can see that just kind of gives you that thickness on the finger. Now, from the top view, it's pretty flat if you look at your finger. You do have maybe something that looks more like that, maybe, you know. Okay, let me look at that. Bring this down a little bit more like that, and maybe bring this up. There we go. That looks better. Whoops. And we just want one little crease there, so we'll, I think that's what, yeah, that looks good right there. We'll pull these down a little bit more. There we go. So now you've got a nicer looking finger. Now if I hit the 3 key, you notice that now we're starting to get the shape. So look at your finger again from the side view. Just put your finger up, your hand up, and look at your finger from the side view, and you can see that you can pull these vertices down. Now I hit the 3 key. If I go to Vertex Mode, I can actually move these and see what it looks like with the smooth mode on. Okay, looks pretty good. Probably bring this down just a little bit more and make this a little more fatty, depending on the finger itself. There you go. And we want to keep that going up. Okay, like that. Let's take a look from the side view, click off of it, and just kind of look at it. I'm going to turn off wireframe on, and you can see that's what it looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Alright, great. And I might make just a little, bring this up just a little bit to show that there's a knuckle there. Not a huge bump, just a little. There we go. And that looks great. Alright, so from the side view or from the top view, usually your finger's not perfectly straight like that. And so a lot of times you'll see your knuckle go out just a smidge like that. Not a lot where your knuckle might be. So let me take those and go to the side view. Yep, and let's look at this. We might want to just maybe scale those out just a little bit. Again, not much, just to make sure it's not perfectly, straight. That's the idea. I don't think anybody's finger is perfectly straight. I mean, they're not broken, but they're not perfectly straight. So there's the finger. Okay, so I'm going to click on that and hit the 1 key again. It looks good. So far, so good. Alright, let's get my hand template back in. Again, you'll have just a top view of this and a side view of it. The side view really won't be helpful for you, so you'll have to look at your finger. But I'll have a top view, perspective view of the hand, so you can look at that, and then the bottom view, and of course the thumb. The thumb is probably the hardest thing that you'll be doing. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and duplicate this over. Now that we kind of got one finger, which is nice, you get one finger done, you can duplicate it over. So let's go ahead and do that. So Control D, and let's move that over. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to swing it around. Okay, alright. Now I prefer to move vertices around and not scale. Scaling tends to mess things up. I don't think it's a bad thing to scale. I think we could scale a little bit, but not like to where it fits. But I'm going to scale down just a little bit so it will fit within here, right, like that, and that'll give us a good starting point. Okay, and usually I just move it over a little bit away from the other object. I mean, from the reference, just to see kind of where I'm at with it, and just move it back. There we go. Okay, so this is just kind of moving vertices around now, getting them to match. So I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to use the Lasso Tool to select my vertices. It works out really well for angled objects. And hit the W key to kind of move it in place. So what I'm looking for is I select the whole thing and I move it back so this is matching. Okay, like that. Alright, then I select, I move up, select this one, and move it back to that so I can get that. Okay, and I just continue matching everything. Okay, until we get the nail bed where it needs to be. Okay, and everything else. That's how I'm going to do the fingers. Slowly but surely we're getting everything in there. There we go. And then if I want to just kind of to select the very end and then fatten that up just a little bit so it looks different from the other fingers, then we can start adding that kind of thing to it. So that's how I do the fingers. So if you look now at that, that looks pretty good, and that's what you're kind of looking for, is try to get that that evenness without making it look like you scaled it down. Okay, so that's going to be the middle finger. And so we're going to continue duplicating, Control D, moving, rotating, scaling, and sizing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate. Get it rotated in the right area, and then just kind of do what I did before. And so we get one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and scale that just a little bit. There we go. Get it close. Move it around. Okay, I'm going to match that one up. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and use the Lasso Tool and move those down. Okay. I think we're close. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And I might just take this and scale it out. Not up and down, but scale it out this way a little bit. Fatten that one up a little bit. There we go. I think we're getting it. And then we will the Q key and we'll go ahead and Control D, duplicate that one and move that one over and rotate it. Okay, that looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and scale that down to match it a little bit better. There we go. And it looks like I over-rotated it just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and move vertices around. And Lasso Tool. And we will move them. Okay, and continue moving them. And continue moving them. Let's see here, I might have to do the Lasso Tool again. Alright. And let's get these last ones. Move them down a little bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Alright, so we've got some things we've got to actually move out with. This needs to be moved out. These need to be moved out. These need to be moved out a little bit. And these need to be moved like that. There we go. That looks pretty good. Alright. Okay, that looks great. All right, so that's where we're gonna leave it right now, and then we're gonna work on the thumb on the next video and putting things together.